All right. Um, basically tonight was just for a little update from the town as to what might be happening over on the Hill Road. If there's any, because I have not heard, I've heard questions from other boards, but not,
The property.
yep. The Trillium Woods and adjoining property.
Yeah, all I know is going to the planning board. It's 26th. But there was an email about what's going on.
Have they submitted any plans?
Is there any more structures or anything going behind the pit or the bunks in Dad's house? Or is that open already gonna be?
Minus the 8 million gallon manure storage.
Thought it was kind of left for.
That's east a little bit, but no, that right by the road there is a leachate system.
For this.
Yeah, you just can't tell right now, but that's what we did.
I see him scratching around.
Yeah, it's the southernmost area that was touched is all that's all the leachate.
Yep.
Field.
Heard two different possible rumors about the sale of the property, whether it's going through or has gone
Not
through,
sold yet.
it contingent upon
Correct.
what can or can't be done with it.
Correct.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, that's, I think, a misunderstanding from a lot of people is it's not actually sold yet. I mean, it's under contract pending lots of contingencies,
Okay.
but it's not officially sold.
So, right, yeah, he said that there's no formal application has yet been received.
What would the planning
From
board
the
be?
potential buyer?
Yeah, and that's the email he sent because Bristol Bob sent me six.
Okay.
And then another one on.
Right.
When I emailed back. Yeah, I responded some today and included Ray on it because they were asking where they would set comments. Yeah, he just says no applications been formal applications yet been received. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, I guess my question is, what are they discussing if there's no formal application, or they just breeze over that one?
I did
Well, they
hear
met
that.
January 28th. That's what the planning board discussed on January 22nd. Ag and farmland protection. They must have met January 28th, and then they're wondering where to sell some comments.
I heard that the housing committee sent that resolution in to the planning board. And their resolution, from the best I understand it, I haven't seen it, but that it would make it a conservation subdivision and it would keep the ag land intact for use as ag land, and no building on that, and no building in the Trillium Woods, or of course, or in the wetlands. So that doesn't leave a lot.
I was gonna say.
Does that?
It's all 6 acres across the front, maybe 5 acres.
I know.
That would be
Where the
that
house
would be a
is.
positive thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I haven't seen that resolution.
I heard that. I haven't seen it either, but that's what I heard they submitted,
That the housing committee submitted.
the housing.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's what they put in, that would be a good thing.
Have we submitted a resolution on behalf of an ag committee?
I've sent Tony's stuff over, yes, I have, but as a formal, you would have to approve of it first.
Right,
But they're aware of your concern.
Do we need to draft one? Are you drafting one? A formal resolution?
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's partially done, I mean, it's done, I just want to finish the rest of the minutes before, yeah, but if you want just the resolutions, the resolution.
Okay.
she's been out sick for a while.
Yeah, I've been off and on with this.
Which is why we don't have minutes to. Well, nothing was sent out.
Trying to remember even what we came up with last time. Weren't here. You remember
I mean,
just
we have to kind of verse it around protecting farmland of statewide importance, right? Because that's how most of it is zoned there. Probably wording it in a way that supports, you know, the several dairies that are in there. I mean, we're not the only neighbors to that. Sherman's are a close neighbor to that property too.
Yeah.
So the two largest dairies in the town border that.
Right in the middle of that.
Right, so I think all of that, from our standpoint, should be accounted for in that resolution.
And also, there was talk about the comp plan too, and how.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think definitely you should
Yeah,
talk
that's gonna
about
have
the comp
that.
plan,
Yeah, and how.
protecting farmland and open space.
Space, yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yep, I have to preserve open spaces diagram.
In an opportunity, you could read the Groton one that Dan Carey and a couple put together. Per se for the solar stuff that has gone crazy over their way.
When did they do that? Recently, didn't they?
November-ish, October-ish, November.
That for the Yellow Barn project or something?
It's from Lansing to West Groton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Is that-
you
is
call
that
it
what it's
Yellow
called?
Yellow Barn,
It's
yeah.
confusing.
yeah,
Guess because that
Plus the South Main Street that's going in right now.
Mhm.
there is one in
Cornelius's farm on the curve up there.
Okay.
Look on the backside of that all the way up to Lick Street.
Really?
well,
See, that was gonna be tied, they were working that before they came to us, and they were gonna tie the two of them. And then that just, I just thought something had happened to that, but it must be they are going now.
no one's been working the Cornelius land there, have they? Any of
A
it?
little bit here and there. Dan's had some.
Yeah, I thought maybe
Dan
Carrie's did some of
had the
it.
majority of it, I think, because it
Okay.
affected him by, seemed like I talked to him last year, the 100 people that affected him by.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
quite a lot up behind the house there of Cornelius place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you understand, Austin, these contingencies, is it all or nothing? If they can't do what they wanna do, then they're walking
That-
away, or?
Not sure I can say, 'cause I don't know. But. I don't know. That's kind of between them and the landowners, I guess. Depends on what those contingencies do for the developer or for the price or both.
Mm-hmm.
What's conservation board doing?
Oh, we talked about it and we kind of were on the same idea that the ag land should be protected and the critical areas, we were concerned about the Trillium Forest and the wetlands. Has Nancy Muckenbeck? She was trying to form some kind of committee.
Yeah, I've seen them type that email. I think they were wanting to meet this weekend.
Week.
Yeah, some Zoom meeting. Which is all good. I mean, I think. Everything that needs to be said has been said.
Yeah.
So. Not sure what we're gonna gain by doing that, just a formal resolution, I guess. But I mean, all of those things were said at the first planning board that night, so.
Right.
Here's another one to throw into it too. Yesterday, I met with a guy from RWE. He's out of Houston, Texas. They want windmills. There's a room on the transmission line over in Cortland for 230 or 23,000 or 230,000 feet to go on that. They're trying to sign up 10,000 acres to put windmills on.
Like Trump doesn't own windmills anymore.
Are windmills even allowed in the town of Dryden, Jason? Commercial?
Windows?
Windmills and turbines.
Yeah.
Mills?
Turbine.
Oh, I don't think.
Yeah, I tried to search it today and I didn't think,
I don't know. Well,
They've identified an area that has got the proper wind or something from.
You can farm around windmills.
Yeah, I said, all right, how much you gonna take up? He says, it's a 1 acre site. Whatever it takes the roadway to go in, it's about 40 foot wide. And he says, but if you sign and your neighbor doesn't sign, they get paid anyway, because we have to stay back 500 foot, so we have to end up paying them too or something. Not a wild thing, but
I'm not a fan of windmills either, but
I'm not either, but
at least their footprint is.
minuscule.
Yeah, they're just really tall.
I'm just gonna look and see.
I tried searching a little bit, and I could just come up with residential, not commercial, but
They're trying to get wherever they build them, the feed of it will go to that transmission line that runs Lapeer, over the hill, Blodgett Mills, Polkville. That's the 325. Said I'd listen, thought it, listen, ain't signed anything.
Wasn't there an initiative to put windmills on Mount Pleasant several years ago, about 10 years ago or so?
20 years.
Was it that?
That was quite a while ago.
There's only two people live up there and they both complained, I think. Never happened.
I think the airport
The airport. is-
complained too, because the planes come in through there.
It is flight path, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did move the WHC tower a little, one knob over so that they could, years ago, well, 50, 60 years ago. The planes could,
Maybe just allow small. Renewable, what it's called, the small wind turbines. but,
Yeah, probably under 50s.
um, I think mostly allowing residential.
He asked me for a couple farm names, and I said, I will talk to him first before I'll give you an email, so.
Yeah.
If you want, even just to send it to you, you can look at it, but
I'm surprised he's pushing it if the town doesn't allow him.
he's just the salesman, I think, is what I get. He doesn't know the whole.
he goes out and beats the bushes.
Yeah, this was. In 2015, so. But I know that that was a. Sue McManus one time was trying to. They wanted to. There were these small scale commercial ones along. But they're not the huge tower types, they're smaller ones, there was a company, I think in Village of Freeville. That was trying to build prototypes of them.
I remember some of that was.
Yeah, I remember
Type thing
that.
with
Something
fans
like that.
inside it.
And around that time, there was talk of, well, we would look at it when if they had something, but nothing ever happened.
He never came back.
Yeah, and they never came back. I would say if somebody wants to do it, they should probably start talking to us so we can figure out how to. Because I don't think it would be a no, it just depends what they're talking about. So, I just never thought the town was really a good spot for it. though.
The only place I know the wind continually blows is out front of Stubble's barn up there. Everything. He put garbage out by the road. I took it down for Louis one day and turned around and rolling down the road.
Yeah, what do you think that somebody, it was already good, it was a good spot, somebody would come It didn't Enfield, but the community shot that down. So,
I always thought that no matter where my neighbors are putting out the recycling, it always, whether it's east or west or north or south, it always ends up in my fields.
yeah, well,
The
that's
bins are
different
empty.
than where the, like, that, like ground, what, it's gonna be different up where.
Right.
So I,
Allison,
Yes.
how are you feeling that you might be able to get the ideas that we have jotted down there together into a concise form that you want to send out? You would feel comfortable sending out to everybody?
I can, by the end of the week,
Okay,
we'll be in tomorrow and Friday.
okay. And upright and mobile,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm. Thankfully, my brain was working at the time. So it's ready.
Okay,
Is there anything else from your point of view that should be said, could be said, needs to be said, done?
Uh. I don't know how much detail we wanna go in regarding how it'll affect farmers in that area, but. I don't know if we need to be that specific.
How about you put us, our committee, on a group text thing, and if you're through the day and you think of something that's a hot topic on it, text it out.
Figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can send what I have for my notes up from the planning board night, and that would pretty much cover everything.
Okay,
It's specific to us a little bit, right? But would apply to Sherman's too and
Sure.
any other farmer in that area. Yeah.
Mhm.
Doing this, should it not just be zoomed into that parcel? Happened there, it could happen someplace else.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I tried to tie
Right.
it back to that
Right,
when I was talking to the planning board that night, and I very specifically told them that this is kind of a point where we're trying to decide if we're gonna follow the comp plan or ignore the comp plan, because the way the comp plan is written, we would never consider a development there. Yet here we are, and I told them pretty straight up that if we're gonna follow the comp plan, then this shouldn't happen, otherwise, why did we write it? And
correct.
they said,
yeah,
that it was a problem. They admitted it was a problem, and Dryden needs to pick a direction. Problem is that nobody wants to be told what they can and can't do. But there is a balance for non-renewable resources. And if we're really trying to protect open space and farmland, then we gotta draw a line somewhere. Right, so that's the problem is nobody wants to be told, but everybody wants to maintain open space and farmland and this and that, but. There's. That line hasn't been drawn. That's my biggest complaint with the system.
pretty good statement. Kinda.
Mhm.
Maybe on this, with the zoning being updated, it's the time to do something, to try to get something in there that.
Yeah.
you can said that last month,
Right,
12 years ago.
and this parcel is not zoned multi-use, it's zoned ag specifically,
It is, yes.
so. It should
You
be
guys
a
have run it
no-brainer.
Bud, for years and years and years, haven't you?
As long as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same parcel, go down across the swamp, the first big field on the left? Is that part of it too?
Below Ann's house.
I couldn't remember if there's a house above it or below, but below the woods, just below the woods, there's an open
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
acre or something like that.
Goes
Yeah.
all
Mhm.
the way down to the swamp pretty
Kind of
much.
wraps around and it goes down further, and then you got Ann's house, and then there's another field below that. Don't get me wrong, that's heavier soil for sure, but
Mhm.
it's classified as prime farmland if drained on that,
Mhm.
probably 15 acres
There
there.
across the street too, right?
That's
But
different.
it's bird sanctuary,
Oh,
no.
I don't know if that was ever part of that parcel.
No,
I don't think it
no.
was.
We used to work that for, I mean, I don't know how long ago. Jerry hated that for quite a long time and then.
He gave it up and I went in there and did it one year and sunk out of sight. In August.
It's not awesome ground, but it was hay ground, but then it's in that conservation now.
Okay. Well, I think we are about as far down as we can get with this at the moment, and
It's kind of a waiting game, right?
Do you have a lease on that land?
It was a year to year.
Year to year, but were they getting ag exemption on the?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, that's something to kind of throw out there too, because there are gonna be a lot of back taxes to pay.
So
On that
now I
one,
have to-
Yeah, but how far does it go?
I don't know. how
Those
it works.
5 years.
5
back,
years,
Yeah,
but on that amount of acreage, it's gonna be a chunk of money.
Could be something. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be, wait and see if they put in a formal application, right, Jason?
Yeah, let's just wait and see.
Is the developer local person or?
Oneana, I think, is where he's from.
That, I don't, I don't.
101.
I have to ask for that.
Okay.
I thought you guys said last month it was somebody. Local, relatively.
Oh, I heard Oneonta, but he did different. He did the development in somewhere else locally to here.
Mill Creek,
That one, yeah.
Where's that one?
Where's that?
up Freeville, all that land over there.
oh, the Kingdom Farm or,
Well, it wasn't Kingdom Farm.
I'm not familiar with the.
well, Caswell
Yeah, that,
and Wood Road and,
yeah,
okay.
it was,
He bought that, several hundreds of acres and
Yeah.
then split it up into smaller parcels, be it a 10-acre parcel or a 50-acre
Oh,
parcel or a
okay.
100-acre parcel and
5 acre parcel.
Mhm. some of them, and
I
then.
hunted in there, you're sure you can't hardly walk in there, so what?
Yeah.
The soil's only about that thick. You're right in the clay.
Yeah, so he's been here before.
What they did make him do there was he had to identify development envelopes where it was dry enough to build a house. There was marked on the map. The only place, like on some of those lots, there was pretty specific where he could or couldn't do anything.
Hmm.
Cause isn't that a conservation
What?
subdivision, Mill Creek?
We. If it's listed up there, I don't know the stuff number. I'm sorry. But if, that's the latest, that's the zoning map, so if the area is. What was the conservation?
That lake green.
But
Yeah, it's like the mint green. So like,
Somebody wants you.
That's how I shut it off.
Probably a lot of cars sliding. Started slow squalling,
Or a bus sitting sideways in a road or.
go off the road.
not going back over. Can't even get here.
No.
No, but it was already getting bad when I came over and it's gonna be worse unless some plow goes down there. I don't think they're gonna come out just yet.
Irish Settlement wasn't fun either when I was out doing chores. But that's because somebody's got some open fields there and the snow
Just blows.
just blows across, yeah. They should have left some standing corn out there or something.
Yeah, you're protecting the road.
Okay,
Well,
Yeah.
you must have contacts all over the place with other farmers. Has anybody got zoning in their area that we could model something after?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure who I would talk to on that. That would be involved in that. I guess I don't know who's involved in that level.
If they run into the problem, then they would know what they're. What they're up against. I just wondered if. Somebody must have something that works, but maybe
I
not.
don't know how much success people have had fighting them. That's my worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google AI overview. Says there's some places that use agricultural protection zone. The new area of a cluster conservation. Develop transfer development rights. Ag districts is the state thing, that's not the same as zoning. So. If you're gonna, sounds like if you're trying to use the zoning, though, you need to use either some ag protection zoning or the conservation stuff that we already have. Because development rights is just paying somebody.
Yeah, good. Planning board. Come out and say they want this to be a conservation subdivision,
I think so.
and then. Then they could designate where any houses could go,
Yeah,
and it would take out. Would protect the ag land, they could protect the ag land that way.
If they choose to.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know where you put a house at that point and why it would even be feasible for that.
well, that might kill.
I think it would kill it, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I think maybe what they would suggest, but I don't know. Would be, I just don't know how people would take this, but if you did a moratorium of development of actively farmed land to investigate something like this ag protection zone. Maybe that would be something out that they could chew on or you guys. But I don't know anything about ag protection. I've never even heard of the term before, so just searched on how to protect least active farmland, because the issue is really what does the landowner want to do versus what the farming community needs.
Mhm.
And it's exactly what you're saying, where you're drawing the line. So, because it seems like they're with the landowner then, because if you put in something that restricts their ability to quote sell it. Or what can be done on it, then you have a possible takings issue, but. You're also have an interest in protecting the farmland, so it's not saying that they can't do anything or profit from it, it's just saying. You can.
You have to profit
But
here.
profit, well,
With this
you're
activity.
still making, yeah, with this one, you're gonna make money on it, maybe not as much as you want, but, then. Them's the breaks, I guess, I mean, well, that's what it really comes down to, it's like,
Yeah,
cause that's the. Cause then someone who owns it might one day go, well, I wanna be out of the farmland business. I don't wanna be in the housing, but what are you gonna?
Right.
That's the balance you're trying to strike,
Well-
but that's why I always talk about like the soil stuff that you worked on when you were. Soil and water, like all that data is just data, it's like you're talking about, you can't replace that land.
yeah,
It's like it's not, it's a finite resource, so that's the whole purpose of intervening in this stuff, is that it's a finite resource that benefits everybody. And it's not just nice to look at either, it's because it's, for food. So it's like, it's worth protecting. So I think that could be one way to do this, it's just say we need. To look at this, because I think that would make sense, because it would limit, because it says here, like, limit, you figure out of the large lots, which I know is a problem. And last time we did zoning, the complaint was about limiting them to large lots. And then, but then this thing talks about limiting subdivisions, which would be exactly what would work here. If you didn't allow a subdivision, you would not actively farm land, even if it's just leased, would never happen. And then restrict non-farm uses too. So that's what suggestions on this thing. No, that all makes sense. This came up with something like Penn State Extension did something as a study on farmland zoning. And Farm American Planning Association, something about it. Penn State, that's probably. I'm surprised Cornell hasn't done something.
They're on the New York State Ag Board for it, all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
no, this is what. I can't imagine we'd be inventing something new. Anymore. But then again, that's all we seem to do in this damn town. It's like, oh, no one's done that before. Hey, let's go for it. What it feels like. So. Pennsylvania does, this is Pennsylvania. Divide, lets local government divide municipalities into districts to regulate how land use and develop. Ag zoning policies and preserve their ag base and protect prime ag land. By protecting first, second, and third class soils. Which makes.
What is the rent per acre? You give them for the.
I don't exactly remember what that one is. It's not super awesome ground, so it's not drained, so it's probably in that $60 range,
Okay.
something like that.
It would be worthwhile to meet with, say, the Groton board or their ag board and see what their thoughts are and our thoughts together. I mean, that feasible land kind of runs across Proville Road somewhat, and we're all in the same boat, and it's only going to get worse for us all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Lansing's your other big ag one, but that seems to be, after you get over the hump, then the land turns good over there. In between, it's kind of wet slow.
North of West Dryden. Is it a Groton Ag Board or just a committee, or what do they have over there? Anybody know?
Talked to Dan last fall and some stuff, but I don't really remember.
Is that?
I talked to Dan Carey last fall, but I don't really remember what.
Group We Conserve PA. Right on agricultural and zoning says that. It's been used in Pennsylvania for almost 4 decades. Some townships, so there's gotta be examples out there. I just copied the article to the group.
Okay,
Well, I know probably about 4 decades ago, they were working quite heavily down in the Lancaster County area with preserving.
Yeah, the first one was Lower Heidelberg Township in Berks County in 1973. And this is by 1993, 93 municipalities adopted APZ zoning. They're in Berks, Lancaster, Chester, York counties. So yeah, that would be down. We're talking about.
I read something, ag land down there selling for tens of $1,000s an acre, or $40,000 an acre or something.
which is why Amish from down there are coming up here and,
Lapeer and.
and yeah,
Friend of mine,
building up on
Amish fellow down-
Freetown.
friend of mine, Amish fellow down there was 10, 15 acres, something like that. They had farmed it for years and the people owned it. They had gotten older and decided they wanted to sell it, offered it to him. And New York City, pumpkin grower got hold of it. I think the 15 acres went for 312 or something, I think. 312, but I didn't, he said it's just.
20,000 acre.
Acre pizza just went for 13,000 an acre in Homer.
Not Hillground.
Lighthouse Hill Road, you go up that, it's on the right, I think it was Rebel Hill,
Yep.
Eastview. Van Erdens were all bidding against each other on that one. But
That's what was crazy, like that in Smith's place when he passed away.
it's not that far from us. I've even seen that number before. It's big numbers.
Well, I think if you suggested this based on the soil stuff, you'd have all the data. To back it up, and you could even plausibly get a moratorium, like.
What is actually the moratorium? 'Cause I'm not-
Just prevents development in certain areas, so like when we did it for the crypto and data center stuff, we put it over the whole town. But you can target it too, so if you're talking about. Like, it would just cease development on whatever you're designating, so if you did a moratorium of development on, say.
Prime 1, Prime 2 soils or something.
Yeah,
Just
that,
build.
and then because you're looking to study whether or not. Where or how much you might protect with the ag protection zone. I don't think people would have a real easy shot at. Like suing the town over it because you're basing it on studying a bunch of data.
Mhm.
And it's not gonna be that much in the town anyway, I think, I mean, it'll be mostly on this side, I think, because the west side of town, like, it's not, I don't think it has any of that. Stuff and. I mean, not like the northwest, especially when you have all that. That not great land, like not great farmland anyway. But all the places that are being actively farmed would definitely get covered. And then you just have, I think, a couple of other places that might. Not be, but they're not. But they would qualify, I don't know that it would. And the only people would probably. I don't know who would complain about it. If we did it. Especially if you have a good reason for it.
All on the presentation.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to be some crazy long presentation, it's like, if this is something that the town struggled with for decades, just didn't know how to.
Designate it by soil type and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is like, that's the irreplaceable resource, it's just like you can't. And if you don't to put a bunch of houses on top of where you can actually. Productive land, because why, it doesn't make sense.
And you've got the comp plan to fall back on and the ag plan.
Yeah.
And the conservation plan, they all
Yeah, they all.
want to protect that kind of resources.
Yeah. So.
And you're saying be more specific than just land of statewide importance?
Well, I think, I mean,
have to be,
well,
right?
I mean, as long as you're like, because this one, when you read through it, it seems to target it based on the soil types. So this Pennsylvania one,
Mhm.
and I think that's a really easy data point to work with, but if there's other places, I mean, you'll know who's doing what, so. If there's other things that should get covered too, you just say, just. Say like, tell us why they should be included, if things that aren't based on the soil type should be included. Just kind of give a reason for that, I mean, it's because the whole point of a moratorium is to study it. And we're not done even with like the zoning rewrites being done in multiple parts, the first part is just about. The housing, like trying to make it easier to develop housing, because that's a big problem, but. The other one that kind of conflicts with that is this, because. But the thing is, like, the housing is mostly focused on, I think, getting it to. Where you have utilities and things already. Because you can't have density without the utilities.
Mm.
I know Bruno wants to build stuff everywhere, but even there's a limit on those because of what the health department would allow. Based on the density, I mean, like, so. Like, I don't think. I don't even like. It's not like if he wanted to build those old like Boyceville somewhere in Dryden, he couldn't do it, it's just so. I just don't know that he wants to do it here. But but he could like, but that's the only thing I could think of, like that kind of development. Or like, this subdivision thing, the only way they'd be able to do it is if the lots are big enough to have their own septic or there's like a common septic, the way. I think right outside of Freeville, one or two of those streets has that. But there's two streets that are right outside of the village of Freeville. I can't remember if they have some kind of septic. I don't know if it goes into the sewer there plant they have there, which is tiny, or they have their own septic. I just can't remember which it is. But there are some neighborhoods that have a common septic. It's just, but that's what like Boyceville does. It's got a common septic, and I don't know how they did it, but it's got to meet with whatever the health department allows. And I think you need 2 acres to have. So, yeah, because I don't know if you need 2, but it's definitely more than 1. Because everything around where we live, all the lots are bigger than an acre.
I was thinking you needed to be able to draw a 150-foot circle within the lot, you know, if it's an oddball. Spindly little thing, you gotta be able to.
Yeah.
You can't just add a long skinny line over here to call it an acre or 2 acres.
Yeah.
You need to be able to put that circle in it somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, but this, I think what this thing talks about is exactly what you're looking for. And this is a pretty,
And that's the one that you sent to everybody already.
yeah, I just sent it right now, I just found it.
So doing a moratorium. How fast a process is that? So we did this,
Tell us what we want, we just have to write it.
come up with our definition and.
When we did the crypto moratorium thing. By the time we said we wanted it to the time we passed it, was like 2 months. It's just a matter of saying, this is what we want, send it to our town attorney, they write it up. We have to hold a meeting to introduce the local law, so we gotta introduce the local law. And then the next month is public hearing, and we can vote right after the public hearing, we don't have to like sit on it for any amount of time. Unless it's like a whole, the only time we'd sit on something like that a long time is if. A lot of people came out against it or at a public hearing, I don't know if that would happen here or not. Right. The sense is it probably wouldn't happen. Because the only people who would come out are other farmers, I would think.
Or people that own a chunk of land that they wanna make money off of and.
And if it's in this, like if you're saying it's only gonna apply to these soils. When we do the introduction. And have a map ready, which is a soil map for the town already. So you can look exactly where it would apply, if you're basing it on that. So you can show people, so they're not, so people who. Will see exactly what's affected. Then that'll limit who would likely come out opposing it. So. I think this would be a good idea. But now would shut down this, you can pass the moratorium, because these people don't have an application in yet.
So you get to pass it,
If you pass it before the application, they have nothing to,
come back on.
yeah, if they had the application in. You know, that's.
not sure we're gonna be done that fast, but
No, I think you can, I mean, if you needed to have a special meeting, if you wanted to do a resolution, you can always call one. It doesn't have to be even at night, you can do it whenever. And just, cause you can work on the resolution after you read this, pick out how you want to do it. And then if you need to have an extra meeting, just call an extra meeting real quick to, after you vote on what you want and send it right to the planning board to us.
When's planning board's next meeting?
26.
Yeah, 26th of
2
February,
weeks.
so 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And then, and then it would make it to us, and you can send it to us at the same time. And then we can just put, so that would be March.
And this is on the agenda for the 26th anyway, right, already?
Well, they had it on for January. I would get in touch with Tony, 'cause I don't actually know what's on the 26th agenda. I don't think they sent it out yet.
Oh, okay.
But I will look, you know. Yeah, I mean, they probably will have it next week,
Yeah,
but if you were to like send this to Tony. Ask him to put it on the agenda to discuss, even if you don't have a resolution or something just yet. It'll let them know what you're looking to
The
do.
resolution will be forthcoming.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically say, and you know, you can say we think this is something that's needed because of, this issue was raised by this potential subdivision. It's something that we haven't confronted, but we've learned about something that could maybe help solve this problem. And we want to suggest a moratorium, and this is how we want to limit it.
moratorium, I mean, isn't that a temporary thing?
Yeah, but the whole point is so you can come up with a permanent thing. It's just you want to stop development while you're coming up with it. But if you don't put one in, then you get an application in without a moratorium. Even if you put a permanent solution in, that application is going to be.
It's got there first.
Yeah.
So it's like grandfather, basically. I mean, it gets a little tricky because if someone just puts an application in, that might, I don't know, there's case law. And I mean, if you look at all the gravel mining stuff from way back that led to the fracking law and, and all that, that's where you go along, you can kind of guess where the line will be, where somebody. If you didn't have a moratorium or a ban or something in to stop something or zoning changes made to address it. There's a line about how much resources they put in. And sometimes it's just the application, because with other times it's more. It's all dependent, like the gravel mining stuff that led to the line of cases that were used in the fracking ban had to do with the town. Like the problem in that case was a town board was voted out, but before they were voted out, that board had been telling a developer of the gravel mine that yes, it's permitted because it was. So they put a ton of resources into developing a mine and getting a permit from putting an actual permit application into DEC, because DEC actually regulates the mining part. But they never started constructing the mine, or something. And then, but the amount of money they put into it, and based on what the prior board had said, allowed that one to go forward, even though like on January 2nd or whatever, the new board banned mining. So there couldn't be any new ones in the town. The old one would go because of that because it wasn't abandoned. So. So it's like always one of those, it depends, but this, if you got a moratorium in though, and there's no application, they're up the same. They have the same problem as the guy that wanted to do the crypto thing here. They're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to overturn the moratorium, and if you get them. When you put the zoning in to address it, that's what they're going to have to live with. And you can extend the moratorium too. We just did that with the crypto data mining one. We needed an extra month to make sure we had time to pass the what we want to do, which is prohibited.
But are they typically a month and then you just extend it
They
like a
can-
month at a time? or-
We put our first, we put it in the crypto thing in for 18 months.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, I mean, you can, it's just if you want to extend it beyond the initial term, you gotta have a reason for extending, so it could be.
We haven't decided yet.
Well, you can press that one up, but usually it's because you didn't do, like if you were doing research on something and just didn't get all data in, then that's a good reason to, or if you got to the end of the period and you just figured out what you want to do and need another month to pass what you're doing, well, then that's a good reason also. We would probably pass an 18-month one because zoning's got at least another probably year after the first phase is done. So I think we would pass an 18-month one. I don't think we need 18 months to deal with it. It's just the safest way to deal with it.
Mhm.
But basing it on this Pennsylvania model might be a really good way to do it.
Do it now before spring gets any closer.
Yeah.
Expect to come along pretty quick, I think.
So
And the barns freeze down now with the being insulated or still?
Yeah, things are freezing.
You guys actually hauling manure over the Dutcher Road? Trucking it?
We can't pump it, it's too thick, no water,
Oh,
it's all froze. Yeah.
yeah, we figured it was something like that. It's really going. I was like,
Yeah,
looks like they're going up Dutcher Road.
just trying to empty a 2-week storage. All we have to do is pump it up underground, 700 feet, it's all uphill and it's just, the ice is probably 8 inches thick and there's no water. Yeah, it's been an issue. Same thing in Virgil, we have 700,000 gallons there to move and that's thick. Gonna pump it 1.5 miles to the other storage and it's not going to go.
So kind of what we figured.
Haven't heard Paul say anything about it yet, but I imagine he's in the same boat because he was marginal to begin with.
Yeah, he struggles with it all the time, I'm pretty sure. Normally, it's not a problem for us, and we've not had this problem in several years, so we haven't had a real winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we rely on the collection of water off the pump systems and snow melt, and it's just, we're having a real winter. We're having a real winter. Yes.
Yeah, so last week, it's just brutal.
Yeah, we run shifts of guys every day. Just because we can't keep up with all the problems. This traffic doesn't start, this is frozen.
Back, stuff down the bottom, when they're all there. Hopers they were headed up.
Good Valentine's.
Manure.
Check the manure out of the.
Don't get me wrong, that's gotten better as we insulate barns and that's. But yeah, you just can't. I don't care how well we insulate it when it's -20 or.
So wasn't it running on Sunday and Monday, it was like 17, but no wind with it, what a difference.
Yeah, that's the age difference. It's spring. Yeah.
Downright balmy out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
Are we making up from the sun? Probably for. Yeah.
one of the things that you touched on last month about building a development right next to a sizable dairy barn. You know, do they understand that there's going to be a sizable dairy facility right across the road?
The developer,
Yes. And
Very good.
potential buyers of the,
well, the potential buyers
That
won't know till they visit that site.
Right.
But the developer heard me loud and clear. He was there on whatever day that was.
Yeah,
I was
planning board meeting.
very upfront. I mean, I wrote it down, but
because that's going over what was sent that's one of the things they talk about is contiguous land without development, housing developments within it. You know,
Let's see, I said. Replacing. Those acres that we can pump, 3 million gallons a year manure to. Require replacing that 100 acres of tillable, we'd have to travel over 10 miles in a different direction to get that. And that increases the number of tractor trailers on the road by 200, over 200, to displace that amount of manure. The new bunk facilities and the water treatment that I was telling Steve about is less than 200 feet away from all those road front lots.
right,
Less than 200 feet. Our driveway for the bunks that has, 1,000 tractor trailers run over it is less than 200 feet away. Nobody's gonna be happy about that, especially on July 4th when we're hauling manure or hauling feed and the dust is flying, whatever it is, right? Late into the night, hauling corn silage, whatever, yeah. And I presented all of this to the board, and the developer sat right behind me and listened to it, so. It's gotta be aware of it.
right.
You
But
can't visit that
but-
site and not see the dairy across the
Right.
road.
But that's one of the things that we should include in the proposed. Reason for the moratorium is so that we can study as to, that we don't want developments within a large contiguous
Mhm.
ag facility.
Yep.
And
Town of Vernon has one.
the consumers of those building lots are not gonna wanna be in the middle of.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of bullet points to put into the
Yeah,
resolution to send to the lawyer to ask for the moratorium, or to however he's gonna word the moratorium.
we need to relate it to this project, but I don't think it
It should be exclusive, yeah.
can't
Right.
be exclusive
No.
or too detailed to this specific.
Correct, it needs to, I mean, whether it's there or something on a development on North Road.
The only thing you have to do is make sure it's distinctive from what we have as rural ag. So
Mhm.
it seems like what you're trying to do is something more restricted than that, because rural ag. It's like it needs to define as primarily agriculture, but allows a bunch of other uses, which includes housing. What you're looking for is something that will include housing.
Right,
So. It'll be a matter of not just defining what an ag. District or agricultural zoning district is. But only what uses are allowed in there. Cause there's some stuff you might that are, not going to permanently develop land like. Camping or any like outdoor use. But you're not putting permanent structures in. So things that. Those kinds of things you might want to allow there, but you're not. So that would be part of developing that part of the zoning. If you,
We come up with the definitions, you just call it a moratorium on development.
yeah, it's just a flat out moratorium on development in the areas based on like,
Lands based on, we gotta do the soil, figure out that soil types and.
yeah. So
Not
that's,
necessarily
so it's gonna
just-
probably cross over different types of zoning, like I would imagine it's gonna hit some conservation zoning areas already. Some rural ag and maybe some rural residential too. And then. Then you just kind of go from there. Cause you're basing it on not just existing lines on the zoning map, you're basing it on something different.
My mind would say to start with. The state's zoning of ag soil. And see what soils are falling under their statewide importance.
Yeah, and you don't have to
Go
be
from
exact,
there.
because the
Yeah.
point is to study it, so it's like we wanna stop development for a moment on this type of land. So just base it on this, and you can just grab the soil map like the county has, or the town has. Designate whatever you're picking, and then.
And designate more than necessary.
Yeah, you can, if it's not exact, and we find out even halfway through the moratorium, you can.
Right, we can
Pull stuff out.
whittle it back. I mean, the whole purpose for the moratorium is to study it. Exactly what we want to restrict it.
Yeah, you might figure out halfway through, you don't want it, and then you just pull the whole thing back.
Mhm,
But-
Right,
But you can't,
it doesn't need to be specific right now.
yeah, it doesn't have to be laser focused, like you're
The reason for the moratorium is to laser focus it,
Yeah, it's
eventually.
eventually, yeah.
So if you just went with soils of, I was looking at that parcel there, and there's, like you said, if drained and how far down the line do we want to go? I mean, that sounds pretty easy.
I would go all the way down to prime farmland if drained, right? Because you put field tile in there and
Yeah, probably.
you can have.
Somehow it doesn't really seem like just draining some of that would do it, but
That's how they classify it though.
I know.
Don't tell me that, we just put a crap load of field tile in everywhere. It works. It works. I mean, is it gonna be your awesome soil? No, it's gonna be late season, you know. But it's still productive ground, yeah.
This document from Pennsylvania that Jason sent us, it lists various ways you can protect farmland. One of them is exclusive agricultural zoning, which seems to be what we're talking about.
Mhm.
It said it's not typically used because of the concern for being challenged as exclusionary, with the resultant possibility of being struck down by the courts. So, should be aware of that.
Yeah.
That's why we go bigger than after we get it figured out,
Hmm.
come in on it.
Yeah,
Put something in there about large tracts of.
Yeah, I was wondering if you want to limit.
That's the next thing they
somebody
say is large lot zoning. Yeah.
Got
Under the exclusion, it said large lot zoning.
5 acres or something that's all they own.
For sure, I mean, there's an efficiency part of it.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job of explaining that because the guy got up there and said, oh, we got these large lots and Bex can work whatever they don't want to mow. Austin got up and said, no, that's not.
Basically, it's better than that.
I'm not gonna vote your
We already
backyard.
are a hindrance to the efficiencies of other geographic areas like Western New York or further west. Right?
Yeah.
We're never gonna have the efficiencies that they have, and I referenced our average size of, we've got like 370 some fields and the average size is 7 acres. And so,
Yeah.
that's a real number.
Wow.
And you
so-
are gonna have a thing like educating people that the ag district actually is not a zoning. It's not a, it's not zoning as a sense of the way people think of zoning, it's a way to protect farms from zoning. And also for the property tax, taxes, but it's not what we're talking about here. Cause people are gonna, cause even the ag and markets fact thing, like there's a PDF they have about ag districts, it doesn't even come close to talking about what we're talking about here.
Or it's not protecting from development.
Yeah, it's really saying they don't they talk they kind of describe it as protecting farmland, but it's not really protecting farmland. It protects farmers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the right to farm laws do, but the ag district stuff is primarily. For just what I said,
Yeah.
just keeping towns from over-regulating farms and
Mhm.
also giving you designating where you can get that tax break.
I see, line.
Yeah, 68 fields and 4 acres.
There's.
Caroline, yeah, you see more and more.
Yeah, they put them up.
I don't know if you do any good, but
Well, educates people a little bit, makes people think.
yeah, let's. Yeah.
So this is intended to stay broad and not reference.
No, if you
That's
target
right.
a specific thing, you don't run into trouble.
So for example, housing or.
Well, is this proposed?
No, I know, but
Okay.
Are you
No, you-
wording it to prevent housing, or are we saying we don't want
No, protect,
anything?
protect farm.
any disturbance of the soil more or less that removes it from production ag or?
Yeah, that's what you're gonna, that's what, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it anyway, it just happens to be this subdivision that raised the issue like in a big way. But it could have been anything, I mean, it could have been. Imagine we weren't even thinking about a data center.
Well, say
All
you
of a
get
sudden,
sold to a solar
somebody-
developer.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, it's better than houses, but it still takes it out of production.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that.
I mean, you're just gonna be balancing it with. Like, what if it's a farmer that wants to have the solar development, even if, you know. Which is why you probably have like. That's one of the allowed uses like renewable energy, but with a permit like we already have. So that it can be allowed. With some review. Cause if the farmer like was doing it to help support the farm. You know, then. Cause like.
And it's going on the wetter ground that even though it is drained, it is still a place where you're gonna lose your tractor in August.
Yeah, like, I mean, because it's, you're like, so you don't wanna, like, that's where but that's not. Like the thing about what we're talking about with the housing is that it's also, like, you're really worried about the nuisance factor.
Mhm.
Because.
As well.
Well, like when you put people living next to, you know, the dairy farm. They're gonna complain. They didn't, unless they came from someplace that had them. But that's kind of what you're looking to avoid. But you're not looking, I don't think, to avoid, like if you had. 1,000 acres and 200 of it wasn't something you're ever really gonna use for farming, but you wanted, it was usable for something like, I wanna throw some windmills to support my farm up, or. Cause you can do that with these smaller windmills in a lot of town that you have, like this for the. Farm, for instance, you can build a bunch of windmills, but that would be not to sell off to everybody else, but to power your farm or solar panels and. But you can also still do commercial ones if you. So, cause if you don't wanna be so restricted to stop things like that. When that's not, like, they're not gonna they're not gonna complain about the smell, like, the solar panels are gonna call up and complain about the smell of manure. But
Right.
some jackass from Manhattan who lives up here. And is like, I wanna, you know, oh my god, cow manure, that's what you're.
And they're out there working at night, and lights shining around,
Cows are
Right,
killing it.
that's really what we're looking to avoid, that conflict.
dust is flying.
So,
You took the calves away from their mothers.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing we're looking to avoid. Mostly, it seems like, but also to make sure that the good soils aren't gone forever.
Yeah, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Right, so
Build up. from-
that's the reason I think would be the undeniable hook for anyone if they can decide to sue the town. It's like the soil you have that's on this land was not replaceable, so.
yeah, it's so close.
Yeah.
It's not replaced.
And there might even be places where like you have that soil, but the land isn't. Like, there's not enough of it there where somebody would farm it, for instance, and then you could always carve that out as an allowable space, because it's not. But that would happen after the.
It's not viable for the park.
Right, like if there was a bunch of good soils in an area that's already developed residential, you're not gonna say you can't do anything there, but if it's like what you're talking about, then there's nothing there and you wanna keep nothing there. So I think you can do this in a way that's gonna. Really work for everybody, it's just, we gotta propose it. And I think. Just read through that thing, like if you were just. You know, get road cut right there, like I said, it doesn't have to be long. You can look at what we did with the
Right,
data
what
center.
you sent us is rather long, we just need to come up with something short.
Yeah, like what we did with the data center one, the actual moratorium was pretty short. Like there's a bunch of, you know, but you have a bunch of whereas about why you're doing it, and it doesn't have to be like 10 pages.
Something to pay the lawyer for, yes.
Well, it's something to explain it to the public, because you can't, if you just say, we wanna stop this.
Yeah.
Without any reasons, then you're not,
Yeah.
that makes it easy for somebody to challenge it. If there's somebody who's looking to challenge it. I mean, if we didn't have this developer coming, we could probably do it with like 2 sentences and no one's gonna care. Cause no one's looking to possibly develop something. But you have someone here looking to potentially do something, so you have to be real careful about how you word it, which is why you're not gonna target just like how.
That site, that,
Yeah,
development.
but if you wanted to include stuff like. The, I don't know, Trillium type things, whatever. Like you need, like if there's a unique natural areas with like protecting them.
Right, but you don't
Add
wanna,
that to
you,
it.
you certainly don't wanna say protecting the Trillium Woods.
Yeah, but there's other areas, like there's
Right.
designated unique areas all over. the town.
Designated unique areas.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, so that's, yeah, and conservation board, I'm sure would weigh in on this too. So I would just put, like, when you write about what you wanna do, copy of it, like, just let everybody know. Well, because then you know they're gonna wanna contribute to it.
Right.
And then,
Throw it out as a motion, we move ahead with it, and that, we feed the information, whatever we've got from the board to you.
Mhm.
If you can get a hold of the conservation board and have their input on it too, that we
Mhm.
see if we can get something together.
and then.
Make
SAG-
notice to the 26th that there is potential for us to offer something to them.
Do we wanna
Maybe
right
that-
now set a meeting for like next week or something, make ourselves do this?
Mm.
Or else just tell Austin to do it.
I'll get on it. I'm here on the 26th, unfortunately, so somebody else would have to be at that planning board meeting. I'd be happy to do it, but I'm not in town then.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to say I'd be here, but if the bell rings, I'm gone.
Provided your cane is working.
What's that?
Your cane is working,
Yeah.
as you're hobbling around here.
No, but so you'll be around next week, right? We can work on it
Yeah.
a week from tonight. I can't do Tuesday night.
No, I'm just saying I can't be at the planning board meeting.
Right, but we can,
Represent the ag committee.
can we all get back together on the 18th and
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get coverage for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
See your hip hurts, you can't do it.
Yeah. And-
I'm way too medicated. I should not be.
Linda was laughing at me today after they'd given me a bunch of stuff. Trying to tell
Yeah.
the person they even know.
And next Thursday is the regular town board meeting. I mean, I'm not gonna be there, but if you, somebody wanted to even email in. Like if you put something, like I can let them know what's coming, because I'm not gonna be there, but if somebody wanted to show up to the end of the meeting. And the only thing.
On the 19th.
Yeah, because there's the, or if you wanted to get on the agenda to just, because the only public hearing we have 2 of them, but one of them is. One's for the ban on the data mining stuff, which is gonna pass. And there shouldn't be very many people commenting. Unless someone came out against it. But I know.
Do you want us to bring the resolution that is going to be written and passed by this committee?
If it's done and
Hopefully.
passed before the board meeting, then sure, do that. But
Then-
even if it's not, if somebody just wanted to come say.
Show up on the 19th and
Yeah, just to.
give it an update as to what we are officially working at doing.
Yeah, just to even put everybody on notice, because
Mhm.
I can throw it on the agenda, just ag committee. Quick,
Yep,
5-minute, 5-10 minute thing if you want to explain.
Pencil us in.
Yeah. Okay. And then, like I said, I'm not gonna be there, but they'll be able to, we could put it like right after the, like soon after the, that date of whatever those public
Mhm.
hearings, because there's one for that, and then I think there's some special use permit that's going, those. I would think they're not gonna get through those until at least 6:45. Because the second one, which is the special use permit, will probably take longer than the data center. Like, unless a ton of people show up and want to comment on that, which. I don't really think a ton are going to. Because we don't have a terrible thing with it.
Mhm.
And last time when we were talking, when we were we brought up the thing the planning board brought up, we had, I think, 8 people comment. And that was it. So I don't think any of this.
Okay.
I'll do that for you guys.
Yep.
So just so I understand, the ag committee is going to prepare and propose the moratorium.
Yeah, pass a resolution asking the town board to pass a moratorium on development and like the soil types and whatever else you might think going into it.
We're gonna be drawing up a
We'll
resolution.
have primary responsibility
Presenting-
for this, yeah. With input from conservation and
Mhm.
whoever else.
Yeah, and plan send it to the planning board too, to say that this is what you wanna do to have. The issue like addressed, I don't know what, like, that's why the ZAG committee should be looped in, like whoever, if anyone from this group is participating in that. To make sure that, it's brought up at that next ZAG meeting, too, just so they're, cause you know, they're not working on this kind of stuff just yet, but. It's gonna have to get on their radar too, but. Yeah, then. This moratorium would. Used to like, then you're gonna, the resolutions that they would want the town board to pass this moratorium based on this data, whatever. Give everybody, as in the other boards, a chance to comment on it. And then. I would think. We could. Unless you had something. We might be able to vote on it in April. May at the worst, but maybe April, just depends on when things work through. If the subdivision, you hear of anything going on with the subdivision bit though, like actual,
Movement.
like if they're, if they're, maybe actually going through with the purchase despite the contingency stuff. Then we gotta accelerate the meetings. And and should be in touch with Ray to see if he knows anything about it or actually input. Because because the email I read before was from today. So as of today, there isn't any normal application, but
Who was the reader on it?
like if Ray has a sense of if they're gonna do it or when they might do it, then that would accelerate the things. And we, the town board can, like, the more, that's why I said the moratorium doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be based on something. We just can't name that
Yeah.
subdivision.
So I was just,
So like, that's why I'm thinking, like, if it's actively, like, you can say actively farmed land, if it's like to cover stuff that might not be in one of the soil types. Which I think this one, all of it isn't. I mean, I don't know, you have to look at the map, but it doesn't sound like from what you're saying, it might not all be like one of those soil types.
So most 2/3 of it is Langford soil, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if there's stuff that's actively farmed, it's not any of those, we want to protect that too, you need
Sure.
to say actively farmed, plus whether or not it's. These soil types hang actively farmed land that's not in those soil types.
Contiguous to the other.
Yeah, like however, I mean, you know. How. But based on. Stuff you're gonna do. And then if we had to have a special town board meeting to pass it because something we catch wind of it being imminent, we can do that. We don't have to get, or we don't have to put out like 2 or 3 days notice. For the public hearing, and then we just do it. That's what we did with the crypto one. We met here on Friday at like 3 in the afternoon or something to do that work. Because we had to get it in place because of what the other persons was messing around.
in the first email we got, well, Lauren forwarded something back early January. Request for preliminary feedback. It sounds like they want to know what they're up against, or you'd think he would already have gotten the gist of how it was gonna go, but
He should have gotten an idea at that planning board meeting, because there was nobody there supporting him. He looked like he got up and did his presentation, was all kind of, oh, this is gonna be great, great. And then by the time everybody got done speaking, he was just kind of sitting there.
I don't know, if you wanted feedback, then
He got feedback that night.
He got feedback. Yeah.
Because quite a few people spoke.
Would you feel comfortable writing the resolution?
I will put ideas and organize it, but I'm not one that's gonna write the
And then-
resolution.
It'll go to the lawyer, really.
I'm not gonna write a resolution.
Others are inviting the moratorium.
Yeah.
That's going to pass.
That's the lawyer kind of,
He cleans it up.
yeah.
Right,
Tweaks
The
it, puts
resolution.
the right words in.
But yeah. Come up
but
with,
if you could put together the ideas that we want to
Yeah.
try to convey as far as soil types, contiguous, and that sort of stuff to help her out,
Mhm.
Mhm. I'll have something for next meeting.
okay,
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
because we need to have it ready to go on the 18th for us to look at. So if you
we're gonna
could,
work on it the 18th.
I can let everybody know tomorrow.
I'll
at the
have-
town board.
I'll have
that
something
something's coming.
prepared for our meeting in a week from now.
okay,
We can fancy it up. and
Yeah.
do what
either
the-
between you and her before then, if you,
But why before then?
so that we know that it's ready to go that night when we get here and
More or less bullet points from him to,
Yeah.
for us to read together.
Yeah.
to then all of us to then,
I don't think I need to give anything to Allison yet.
okay,
Until
Alright.
we meet
Yeah.
a week from now. I will
Well,
develop.
remember the town board meeting's on the 19th.
on the 19th.
Okay.
So we need to have
The
it,
resolution.
we need to
ready
have it really pretty by the
for the
19th.
19th.
I mean, I had a look at what Jason sent, take that, soils of the different classifications, there's 3 or 4 of them on that parcel, and I don't know,
Well, there are many, many pages on that,
not.
what he sent us,
Oh,
Yeah, it goes through the whole.
right?
criteria. So.
That's more than what we need for, that would be a study item for us,
right,
one, but not to initiate the moratorium. We need a short resolution for the moratorium.
Yeah, so saying we're asking the town.
Based on
to do
soils.
this, Based on these.
And what he sent us will be one of the research items that we will be working with to come up with new zoning.
Yeah, and I can.
But we need something very short and concise, asking for the moratorium.
Yeah, and then tomorrow I'll just let the board know that someone's gonna be coming, to explain a little bit more. And then that way you can get them on board, or I can start getting them on board tomorrow.
Now, or before,
Before you guys even come,
but are we gonna need to be presenting the resolution to,
I think, yeah, if you have a resolution ready, I think it would be great to just say, this is our resolution, here you go.
even before we talk to the planning board about it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just that way the town board's like, okay, we know this.
we present it to the town board and then we go and
Planning board's the following week, and then.
Talk to the planning board.
Conservation board's coming up too, isn't it? Next-
That's
a couple days
We'll meet
before
on
the,
the 24th.
yeah, so bring that to them then, and then that way in
so
March.
we'll present it to the town board and then the conservation board, then the planning board.
Yep,
Mhm.
that way, and then you can say.
And then in March, it'll still be,
Then in March, we can, and if everybody seems positive about it after all these little introductions. It's getting, March could be just, here's, like, I can, just let me know and I can ask the town attorney to put together a moratorium based on this stuff. And then
and
we
everybody's.
can introduce it in March and vote on it in April to put it in as a town law.
Mhm.
But if we, like I said, if we catch wind that we need to do it quicker, we can schedule an additional town board meeting. To, like, because we can easily, if we get this done quick enough, we can introduce it the first March meeting. And then pick a public hearing date, and if by then we know that, let's say Ray tells us they're gonna have an application in, 10 days.
Will he give us that one?
I'll tell them to go so long.
So that's gonna be the key information right there.
Yeah, if they don't tell him anything, he's not gonna know, but I can tell you, if you catch wind that they're coming in with one, then we can schedule something much sooner.
Don't open the mail for a while.
Well, yeah.
Joking.
Yeah, but like I said, an application on its own isn't necessarily enough, but it makes it a little more.
things are going.
The reason why the crypto guy got caught up is because he didn't do any of his application stuff properly at all. So even if he was gonna.
Back until on pen.
Yeah, that was worse. So when because we're gonna still get sued by that guy. I don't see it going anywhere. Like because of the way he handled things on his own. Like he if this developer like has an actual real zoning lawyers or something helping them out, it's a different problem.
So you had the
No,
moratorium done after he put his application in? But he had some
yeah,
wrong
the
with
applications were, like, what happened was he put an application in claiming it to be a service business, so it was denied. And instead of, like, there was a different route he could have took, but he decided to go to ZBA and because we had denied it. And he also did some wrong things with the building permits and where it was kind of a debacle on his side, but the way he did it, let us get the moratorium in before the ZBA had their meeting. Cause he was gonna apply for a variance and we're like, I wasn't about to allow what happened, just happened in Lansing on this one. Cause I don't, ZBA acts like a court. And the town board, if ZBA rule, like, makes a ruling that the town board doesn't like, town can actually sue the ZBA.
Yeah,
It
that happened.
And it happened,
Yeah,
I think it happened in Dryden once.
Yes.
I don't know about
My
what.
father-in-law was on the board, her dad was on the board at that
Yeah,
time.
but you can do that, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, so that's why we said we're just gonna do the moratorium, and ZBA meeting then was moved, because they couldn't do anything anyway. But that's the kind of thing that could happen here too, like if this developer doesn't have something in, but what we do as moratorium covers that property, they're gonna be out of luck even, no matter who they hire, they can hire a freaking Supreme Court for all we care, they're not gonna get anywhere. It's just if they get something in, and that's why I say like the difference on the gravel things is that in those cases, the town board was saying, yeah, you can do it. Nobody here has said they can do anything, which is good. So, and they also haven't put a lot of money into their proposal anyway, because so if at worst they're paying for the right to buy, which is the same thing that was going on with the Trinitas thing in Varna. About that. That company's actually spent a lot, they pay a lot to incentives for just the potential right to develop it and that. And they had actually started putting plans in with the town. But they pulled back for other reasons, but they had no grounds to sue us then. I mean, we weren't preventing it, but it's just the way they did things was kind of ham-handed in the first place. So.
I want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row coming up to these
Yeah, I mean, I think if you hit all these
ding, ding, ding,
meetings,
ding, ding dates.
yeah, because if you hit all these meetings too, it's gonna give everybody a chance to even, they don't have to know a ton, I think, to comment on this one. That's the reasoning's gonna be pretty sound, like, because this isn't the first time it's come up either.
Mhm.
It's just that now you're figuring out a way to maybe address the concerns of the farming community for not being too restrictive, but also restricting where you have to restrict. Like exactly what you're saying.
So the resolution might be passed by the town board to create a moratorium on development of ag lands.
No, we don't need to pass a resolution.
Well,
The passing a moratorium is a town law. So basically what your resolution is gonna ask the town board to pass one.
right,
You're gonna send that to planning board. 'Cause
Right.
they, they're gonna wanna comment on it. Conservation board will. That's housing committee might even, but they already did a resolution somewhat to, Martha will. She'll bang one out in her sleep. But the thing is, it's like, you're just gonna, let everybody know this is what we want. So no one's gonna come, so no one walks up at a meeting in March and go, oh, we never heard about this.
right, no, I understand that,
Yeah,
but what, the moratorium will prevent development,
yes,
but it's
Well,
for
need
that
study.
period. What's the goal of the moratorium period?
to develop the actual zoning, the ag, so you're talking about this agricultural
Right, and
protection.
that will be
zone.
done by the ZAG group or the zoning?
Well, if
that's going on now?
it could be, it doesn't have to be done by that, because we did the data center thing independent of that,
Okay.
like planning board came up with a recommendation, we didn't accept it. We wanna do a ban. So it wasn't part of ZAG so much. It's just that the timing of this moratorium might be longer than it takes to finish all the zoning changes. So if you gave it over to that group to help with the definitions and stuff. But if they're also getting nowhere, or if they don't wanna do it, we can do it independently. There's nothing, it's just, yeah, it's,
But that process will have to start pretty soon.
yeah.
We can't.
Yeah,
relax
because if we
too much
say the
forget
moratorium, yeah, if the moratorium is passed in April, there's like, the phase one of the zoning stuff's gonna finally get probably voted on by the town board. Probably in August,
Yeah.
and then the phase two stuff starts. I think that's the zoning map and other pieces, which is where this really will fall.
Okay.
So you said probably our moratorium, you do it for 18 months?
Yeah, I would just do 18 months. There's no
So-
reason to do it shorter. You can end it early. There's no
Yeah.
reason to do it shorter.
But the goal is to have some kind of policy that will regulate development in farmland.
Right.
Zoning.
Yes. Which is, if you read the sent, it explains how they do it in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And it seems to have everything. And then I also sent a link to Town of Vernon's E-code, which is why I was, because when you look at it, it lists a bunch of stuff that's allowed in those, which is where you get to this use chart stuff, but whichever one is talk about. But that's where you're gonna wanna have things restricted more than what you have in our rural ag. Cause I know the question that's gonna come up is, well, what's the difference between this and rural ag? That's what
It's
you're
more
gonna.
specific.
Yeah, and rural, and maybe the answer is, well, where you have rural ag, you restrict uses instead of making something new. That might be the answer. It's the same thing. Potentially, it's just. You gotta, but it seems to me like this one, because it's based on soil types, is gonna cross boundaries of different types of zoning, and you can have overlays. You know. I know that, some people talk about overlays being shady or whatever, but overlays like. If the soil types cross like conservation zones and residential and rural ag and all that. You're protecting, if the idea is to protect the soils, then you're not gonna you don't need to upset those other zoning designations, because when someone goes to say, can I do something here? They're gonna go, oh, wait, this has an overlay of this because the soils, I can't do what I want there. That's all it is.
Just amaze you, that back in the 30s, somebody, I don't know how many people did it, traveled across New York and created the soil maps. By geez, they're pretty damn accurate right to the edge around where it changes and what all, to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, so I mean, so I think that might be the way it comes out because of how it crosses boundaries. Like
You're saying it's not already developed, but it's in a district that's not an ag district.
yeah, if it's not an ag
Still-
district and it's something you want to protect because it's contiguous, then yeah, it's worth protecting for that reason. It's just, but you might not want to take everything. Like, you might not want to change the underlying zone. That's why you can do it as an overlay too. It's just, there's a bunch of ways to do it, and that's why when you get that.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways.
First, we need the moratorium. Then we
Yeah,
can figure
first
out how to
moratorium
do
and then
it.
figure. Exactly.
That's the reason for the moratorium, is give us time to figure it out.
And
Put the brakes on and then figure it out.
yeah, and I think finally we'll.
Fine, first
that's
year.
the thing that's been kind of eating at us for
Ever.
more than 10 years. Which is good. I mean, whatever, it takes time,
Mhm.
no problem.
Okay. Everybody ready to call it a night?
Yep.
Motion made? Anybody? Second? I'll get up.
What about
Go
the
home.
motion I put out to do the moratorium, so we got record of it half an hour ago?
Did we?
No, you dropped it.
Oh, we did. Okay, back up. Resolution to pass the,
So we're on a moratorium to be presented from start to on the 18th here.
We'll work on a resolution. That's our job. Resolution asking the town board for moratorium.
Second.
bingo. Any further discussion? Please say no. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Good.
So we have to go back outdoors.
Opposed? Good. Now we're out of here. out there in the summer weather.
Thanks, Jason. Yep.